Welcome back to Teddy Talks here live at RE Plus 2025. We're in the beautiful Venetian Expo Center and we have an amazing guest with us. We'll get into that in just 1 second, but please go and subscribe, like. If you're seeing this anywhere else but YouTube, make sure you go over to YouTube and click at Go Teddy Talks so you can stay informed with all the amazing things that we're doing and watch us as we grow and bring you industry experts on solar, all the way from the guys on the roof, in the office, doing the diagrams, designs, and then amazing companies like my current guest, Chris from American Roofing, formerly Apollo Solar, correct?
Yes, I had making that transition now from Apollo over to American Roofing Solar, which is based in the Louisville, Kentucky area.
Awesome. So yeah, let's talk about your area, your geographical area, what services you provide, what you do, and then just a little bit of history about you yourself.
Okay.
And we'll go from there.
Yep. So we are based out of the Louisville metro area. So we service not only southern Indiana, but also the Louisville metro area down to even as far as Lexington and some of the bordering areas of Tennessee. I have been the owner-operator of Apollo Solar since about 2021, and I served on the Kentucky Solar Energy Society board. So during the 3 or 4 years that I was the owner-operator of Apollo Solar, and I was serving on this board, we had American Roofing, who is a company that's been in the Louisville area in the roofing industry for 110 years now.
Wow.
And so it's a fourth generation company, and they were wanting to get into the solar side of things. Now, as a board member on the Kentucky Solar Energy Society, they were looking for consulting and trying to figure out, if we're going to get into the industry, what's the best way to do so. So we had them approach us as a board, and at the time I was still operating Apollo Solar, and they were looking just for basic advice. What's the best way to get into the solar industry? We're already up on the roof. What can we do to maximize our time up there?
Yeah.
So as we had conversations back and forth and us trying to lead them into going into the industry the right way, I really got to know the ownership there, and great people. They really wanted to go ahead and make sure that they do this the right way. And they saw what I was doing and how we were at Apollo, a relatively small-time operations freelance solar installer in the Indiana area. Yeah. And we were looking to expand, and we were expanding, but not at the pace that the industry and the demand was asking. So what it came to was we both kind of saw that they needed a solar industry expert, and I needed growth.
Yeah.
And so after a few conversations back and forth and them really trying to kind of reel me in, we ended up just recently in Q2 coming to the conclusion that we should go ahead and maybe work together. And so they brought me in, and we had a few sit-down interviews. We've started some hiring process. We started basically pouring the foundation, and we are currently in the middle of some of our first installs as of right now. So I'm winding down Apollo and making my transition into American Roofing Solar.
That is awesome. That's impressive when you find an ownership group or an organization that you can actually help, and it makes it possible when you have that industry expert knowledge, right?
Yes.
So probably the funnest part about getting a new job or rebranding is all the amazing swag you get. You still have your classic swag, and I know I'm running out of closet space because I've got so many fun shirts.
Yes.
But, I mean, it's a beautiful logo. It's been around for several generations. It's new because now they have solar,
yes,
which is awesome. And I work closely with a lot of roofing companies, and a lot of them call me, remove and replace, and they're running into solar more and more now.
Yes.
And they don't know what they're doing. So I would encourage, every roofing company, if you're watching this, get with a local expert, such as Apollo Solar. If you want to join and rebrand, great. If you just want to have a consulting relationship or a project relationship, great. But I think American Roofing has really pulled the trigger and done a good job.
I think they're going about it the right way.
Yeah.
Like you said, I do believe that we all think, hey, we're on the same roof working surface.
Yeah.
We can all do the same job. But what we recognize is I'm not a roofer. When I get up there and I see these experts, these industry experts doing their job, I recognize what I'm not educated on, I'm not trained to do. And so by having them as an available resource for me, if I need something re-roofed or if there is damage taken to the shingles during the installations process, we don't have to go and work with third parties. We actually have that internal team that can be from a complete reset, whether it's hail damage and all the panels have to come down and put back up. But I do stress basically what you were saying, that we are working with high voltage electricity. We are working with an added danger to the aspect, because if a roofer attempts to work on a live circuit or something of that nature where we are taking down a system, we can not only just have the heights aspect, which is already dangerous enough, but then we have electrical that we're mixing into that.
Yeah.
And so by really looking into industry professionals, making sure that if, hey, we are going to get into this, do a little bit of homework, make sure that you know what you're getting into. And at the end, everybody comes out on top.
Yeah, I think when you get those key individuals and know what they're doing and they're good at their work. Like I've been a general contractor for several years, 25, 30 years.
Okay.
And a master roofer, CertainTeed certified, all that fun stuff. And so it's been fun. Like when I helped Utah start launching their solar path and solar career, there wasn't many solar industry installers. And so when I was hiring installers, I'm hiring former roofers, former framers. It was nice because I didn't have to teach them rafter layout. I didn't have to teach them shingle fashion. I didn't have to teach them all those little nuances. And it's like, okay, we're bolting stuff onto the roof. Let's make sure it's not going to leak one. And then it's done properly and structurally. And now racking has come so far that it's changed the game. And
every year I am impressed by the racking manufacturers and the innovative ways that they go to make our job easier. And you're absolutely correct. Having somebody with roofing experience can really streamline that. Hey, not only do I have to teach you how to do solar, I have to teach you how to do roofing and safety and everything in between, but having guys that can integrate, hey, we're already comfortable up on the roof, we know what we're doing up there, and then just teaching them that second half of it per se. Here's how the racking, the installation of the panels, the safe means of doing that. It is can be a beautiful harmony thing when everything is working well.
Yeah, and I found sometimes my biggest personal challenge is hiring the right person, and it's really tough in the solar industry because you're like, oh, it comes second nature to me, right? It comes second nature to you, and it's like one of those things like, okay, how do I get my expectation across to this new hire? How do I throw him on the crew, and how do I integrate him with his limited knowledge of construction, if it's a new hire, and then a safety and electrical work, and it's like they're learning 4 or 5 different trades at once usually.
It's very difficult. Oftentimes, like you're saying, either I try to hire somebody with some sort of roofing background or electrical background. A lot of times, currently we have one of our lead installers who comes from a master electrician father, and so he comes in having that electrical background, understanding a different aspect of it, but as we bring in these different talents into one place, it does seem that they learn off of each other as well, which is great. I'm not in charge of making sure that every minute detail is trained through me, but different people can bring their expertise together and learn from one another.
Yeah, and the amazing thing, like the in-field part is like very minute. It's like a 1, maybe 2, 3 day max, depending on the side of the job, that you're in the customer space, on their house, in their field. Commercial projects or battery projects may be a little bit longer, but there's hours of weeks of hours on the initial design, the site survey, the design plan set, the review, the net metering,
permits,
permits.
Yeah.
And So hiring those individuals or outsourcing, getting with a good company, there's all those nuances. And the guy putting on the solar knows that happens and has a piece of paper he's following. But getting somebody to even cross over from application installation to design and engineering,
Oh yeah.
I mean,
It's
wow.
a big bridge to gap. And oftentimes we do try to, during the interview process, somebody's interested in joining our team, we see what background they have. And currently, when it does come to that kind of tedious work on the back end that nobody sees, the client never really, they see the paperwork for it, but that side of it is something where you need somebody who's good at communicating with other contractors, because oftentimes there are third-party contractors we work with. For instance, just last year we did a carport where concrete was a big part. We had to bring a foundation together and then the electrical work and everything that came afterward. But somebody that does have that communication skill to get across what it is what we're trying to accomplish is also maybe somebody that never even touches the roof, but somebody who sits behind the scenes, behind a desk. And American Roofing has given me the ability to seek out the right talent to make that moving forward, we have the right team in place. One of my old colleagues, before I even got into the solar industry, is my right-hand man right now. Somebody who is in charge of the ordering and the permitting and the processes behind the scenes. And again, anybody getting into this industry, I really want to make sure that you understand all that goes into it and having the right people, because the people I have on right now, I can count on at any time of the day. They know what's expected of them. They know what I like as far as quality and what I expect of them myself. So, yeah, it is important that you do have the right team and to understand what you're getting into. It's we're oftentimes working with not only building permits but electrical permits and working with the county and making sure that we're within everybody's guidelines of because the worst thing you can do is finish an install, have an inspector come out and then say, whoa, that's not right. So yeah, in order to make it a good experience for the homeowner, for the company that's installing it, and in any third-party contractor that we're working with, everybody has to be in good communication with one another throughout the whole process.
Yeah. So I have an amazing team here. You've seen some of them, you met some of them.
Fantastic team.
Before and after.
Yes.
And so I think you have to have those individuals that you can rely on. And then you're talking about communication. Like, I'm sitting here thinking like, okay, intercommunication, company communication between contractors, but in getting a solar guy or a lead to talk to a customer and articulate back and forth, that can be the best or the worst thing, right?
All depends. A socially, somebody who's good with this interaction, can make good eye contact, be direct, make sure that, and we're in the industry where we want to make sure people feel as if we're in there for their best interest. We want to make sure that they truly understand the product that they're getting, they understand the return on investment that they should be expecting. And after we're done with the install, it's their product now. It's their install. It's their solar. So they need to understand as well, once we're done, how to monitor it. And we want to make sure that when we do standardize products, that it's a product that the customer is going to feel comfortable with having, that has a great warranty behind it, that really just is user-friendly from the monitoring aspect of it. They understand exactly what production, and you can explain and sit down with them as much as you can during the initial conversations, but until it's online, until they're actually monitoring it, man, sometimes you see them with a big smile on their face. They truly start to comprehend what it is and how the system works and what to really expect from it. It's a joy. It really is to sit there and have that interaction with a customer and see a satisfied customer after the install's done.
Yeah, I love it when you actually can turn the system on, like you said, and commission it, and you can see the panels changing colors, and you can see a great, clean user interface. And you turn it over to the customers, and they're like, okay, this is cool. I'm like, yeah, you're going to watch it for a week or two and be happy, and then that first bill's going to come, and it's going to be super low, if nothing, and then they're like, oh man, this is actually saving me money. And we're talking systems and operations and maintenance of 25, 30 years minimum. And even that's just the warranty on the system. That means
Yeah.
it's still going to produce 80+% after that time frame.
Yes.
So we're talking 50 plus years, right? And so when I have something that's going to outlast my house, my lifetime in that home, those things, it's actually a huge benefit. I mean, I love solar, obviously, and you do too. And educating people and realtors seem like the worst ones to communicate with, but it's like, oh man. But I've had some great successes with buildings and counties and HJs and all the nuances, and each one's a little different. So
They are.
your geographic territory is pretty large.
Yes.
And so you're dealing with all kinds of different agencies, and each one has their own portal, their own way to apply, different power companies. Most of mine's similar, like single power company, so it's pretty easy there. But yeah, every city, every county, it
is.
Yeah.
And we come from the coal state. We are a fossil fuel burning state.
Yeah.
Kentucky is they're making their way into renewables, and obviously there's players in the game who don't want to see renewables thrive, but what we can do between the companies that I work for and the boards I serve on is help educate, I'm not sitting here to try and argue with some of the people who are set in the way that they have, but like you were saying, we work in a vast demographic type of area in Louisville. In the city, we may have people who are very green. They're doing it for the purpose of, trying to make a difference. While you get to the more remote areas of Kentucky and southern Indiana, and you have the power supply companies raising rates exponentially. And so they're more on the return on investment side of things. So what we want to let our clients know is that we're here to cater anybody's needs. And we have the product line that can meet those needs, no matter what they might be. We, in certain areas, have very wooded areas. So having that panel level monitoring, panel level optimizing with that microinverter technology has paid off a ton. I mean, big pine oak trees right there in front of their house, right where the south facing surface is. Not always the favorite thing, but if we have that ability to maximize the sunlight that we do get, it really makes a huge difference. And the customers can, you can explain it to them all the time and what the difference one tree can do, but them being able to monitor it and see it for themselves, it really makes a huge difference at the end of the day. So
so on my property, I don't have a tree shading, but I got some furnace flue vents or pipes and stuff.
Oh yeah,
and it's impressive, even just a small shadow across the panel. And if it was a traditional string inverter, it'd be devastating to my production.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Now having a microinverter, and I've got
Just
several different ones.
One or two panels.
Well, yeah, and you're like, you can see it come across the shadow, and I'm like, here, and show people, and it's amazing the technology of that. And
absolutely. And one of the things that I really keep coming back to, and when I'm working with my new guys, we obviously were sitting here in the middle of RE Plus. We can see there are a ton of different manufacturers who produce different products, but one of the standout features of the APsystems microinverter that I really enjoy is the 2 panels per microinverter. Oftentimes I build my arrays where, and I know that there's the portrait and landscape guys. They have their preference.
Oh yeah.
I'm a portrait guy.
Same.
All of mine. I like to go on portrait. It seems to take less hardware. I'm not here to debate that if anybody wants to. But so when it comes to that though, oftentimes I have a portrait sitting on top of a portrait, and with the stringing of the microinverters, I can keep everything under the top row of panels and just a connection lead going from the bottom one. So if anything does require maintenance or a bird gets under anything that might be, I'm only having to pull up the top panel.
Top panels,
and easy access, making my job so much easier, because traditionally if I had a microinverter under that second panel, not only do I have to pull up that first panel, find somewhere up on a sloped roof
They
where
grab
to
it,
put.
hide it.
Yeah, like I mean, there's no real good
Yep.
place to put a panel, especially as panels grow to the size that they are today.
Oh, massive.
And they're 60 pounds, and they are a kite. They grab
Yeah.
the wind, you know. So the fact that I can pull up one panel, I can maintenance, do everything I need to do all in one spot, and it doesn't matter if it's the top or the bottom one, and I replicate that even if the system size grows, you know, and even more so the QT2 when I'm
Yep.
doing my commercial installs, I can have, you know, everything in one spot and have those leads making that long run. And really my maintenance point is just under one row of span. It really makes it fun for my design process. I know when I'm designing my layout that I'm like, well, this is the product I have. How can I make it, if I do have to return, how can I make that return visit easier for myself or one of my guys?
Yeah, so I like when we're installing, and I instruct this and I train this when I go out, is let's install for the service opportunity. Don't, like today, easy, right? We got a full crew, we've got all the equipment, but when you go out to service, it's one guy, maybe two, but it's usually somebody learning. So your first lead guy, your main guy, you don't want him there half a day trying to diagnose or figure out what the guy before him did. You want them to see an easy, identifiable area. And that's what's amazing. These microinverters, not only do they have serial numbers and marketing, so you know exactly where on the roof it is, and an easy platform all the way through to figure out and design that, but you know what panel it is, you know what line it is, you know what the issue is before you go on a site. Like you can either, if it's a tech support issue, they can RMA it, they can figure out exactly what you need to do before you leave the office.
And I know which roof surface I'm going. At the panel level monitoring, I know, hey, it's that panel, 3 back, 2 to the right. I don't think that one of the tools you guys have is utilized enough. I'm a deep digger, so I want to see exactly what, but
are you diving into the design options on the data level?
Everything.
I love it.
Everything. Yeah. And even beyond that, when it comes to, if I click on an individual panel, I can monitor the Celsius of temperature of the wires themselves.
Yep.
And which, you know, for me, when we're using those high-end THHN wires that are, you know, rated at 90 degrees Celsius, and for operating, and I know I need to make sure I'm within compliance of National Electric Code 2023, which, you know, by looking into that, I'm able to make sure that, hey, not only did I design it correctly, but it's working the way that I wanted it to.
Yeah, it's in those parameters, and it's fun when you actually get somebody. I'm like, according to my calculations, like it's like you have to like actually nerd out on this.
There's
stuff.
A lot of math.
Yeah,
and
it's all math. And I tell people like it's simple math because you know. I mean, if you know the formulas and you know what it's supposed to be, it's so easy. And I love math, and
it caters to that itch. Like, you know, hey, I want to see if all my hard work, all my equating up to this point, up to that install, it pays off. And you know, and it turned out the way you wanted it to. And all that monitoring ability and being able to not only see the system turn on, which the client more than likely they're just going to look at the production and make sure everything looks like it's supposed to. But for me, you know, oftentimes I like to, you know, it makes my customer happy if I catch something before they do. You know, during that install process, and whether it's just a loose lead, you know, it's a hot day when we're installing in the middle of June or July. And, you know, guys are hurrying to get up off the roof, and hey, mistakes happen.
It happens.
It does.
Or they forget to plug in a panel because that's super awesome.
It makes it all the time.
Like, hey guys, you missed a panel. But I love it when we can actually live plug them in before they're off the roof. They're checking. My ground guy's checking. They see all the panels populate. They have production. They can walk away. And that's what's amazing with this program. I know several other companies have similar programs, but it's almost easier to walk away and say, yep, I've done my job, and put that big check mark on the box. And I think that gives my guys satisfaction and my crews.
They love seeing a finished install. I mean, they feel proud of themselves, especially the newer guys. The first couple installs that they finish, I mean, they feel as if they're a part of something. And when they, you know, everybody's seeking a purpose, but, you know, when guys come into this industry, they purposefully apply to be in this renewable energy, solar type of industry, and they want to learn, and you get them to not only be a part of the install and learning along the way, but then to see it commission, turn on, pass all of the, you know, permits and the inspections. and they get to, you show them, hey, everything
This is
turned
what
on just
yep.
the way that, and even if something doesn't turn on, like a loose lead or something, hey, now this shows you the importance of making sure when you're there, you're up on that roof, might as well take that extra time to make sure, and, the AP systems microinverters give you a light indicator. Hey, when
Oh
you
yeah.
plug it in, hey, I got a little red light that says, hey, we got DC electricity coming through.
Yeah,
So,
and I mean, it's a simple. I had an inspection Monday before we came, just 2 days ago. It seems like a week ago because Vegas, right? First thing the inspector did is go start tugging on wires, and that's a simple. I mean, the simplest thing you do: click the thing in, tug on it a little bit.
just give it a little tug. Yeah.
So, well, let's talk about why you're here, how you got here.
Okay.
I mean, you're a big fan of solar. You're a big fan of APsystems, and that's who we're powered by, sponsored by. They're the ones that made this possible for me.
Yep.
And so they've also they have an award. They have a yearly award. And we get to celebrate you. This is your third time?
Yes, 3 years in a row now. So,
Awesome.
so my first submission for the award was a solar reset in Henryville, Indiana, and it was a string inverter configuration
Okay.
that during the time of the install, everything was still kind of new. Not that the industry was new in solar, but residential solar in this particular part of the state and the country, it's just something where there wasn't a wide variety of installers available.
Okay.
And so this individual was an early adapter. He got string inverters on a north and northwest facing roof.
Okay.
Some big tree lines, and he was happy that it was working, but he had no way of really monitoring it. The system wasn't even connected to the internet. So when he wanted to see if it was working, he would go to his basement, look at the little interface screen and see what was going on. And so he had actually started having some roof leak damage around his chimney and a couple other spots. And he needed a solar installer to come out there and maintenance it. Oh, he had a hard time finding anybody. Well, he eventually made in contact with me, and I was a little bit south of him, but within our range of work. And he had us come out there. I evaluated the system, and I said, hey, if your HOA, your homeowners association, isn't regulating like it used to, and they did loosen up those guidelines, we can put this on more productive roofs, and we can actually add a lot better monitoring ability and a better inverter system all around. He was all on board. So we got the system completely reset, got a brand new roof on there, got the system installed, and we went ahead, and after the install was complete, I was a big fan of APsystems. I was using them. I had no idea there was an annual competition. And on your guys' social media page, I saw an advertisement for, hey, submit yours for the annual contest. Okay, might as well. It was a fun install, and it looked great. Turned out fantastic. And I'm really picky about how my thing. I really try to do the best I can. So after I leave, it looks clean on the house, and because we do drone photos afterwards. So you get really submitted the install, and I was actually walking through a hardware store at the time, walking with my brother, who was my partner at the time, and we received the email from Deb. And to say I had a smile on my face is a little bit of an understatement. I was pretty ecstatic. So we were happy. We won the competition, and that really kind of set that snowball effect. We once I knew, hey, I can compete with the big dogs. I can actually do good quality work and submit and maybe even win moving forward. It got me into the point where, hey, on my future installs, I'm going to know what I'm going to need to do, take pictures of certain things.
For sure.
So that way, it's good for our advertising, it's good for our social media, and something that we can submit forward. So year one, we won. Residential category is the solar reset. Wasn't our solar panels, but it was all new inverter and racking system. So then moving forward, we shortly after had won a bid on a public library installation, and that was in 2023.
Okay.
And so they were the winners of a grant. They had applied for a grant for solar, and with the ITC and the direct payout for nonprofits, the library, they were able to get a big chunk of their install costs taken off with a grant and everything, all the incentives that came with it. Beautiful building.
That's impressive.
It was a 2019 build library, and they had perfect south-facing roofs. And so when the application came through, I only bid it one way using the QT2,
Wonderful.
which we had just released for the 208
Okay.
volt. And we had just actually gotten the QT2 had two different wire bus configurations, a 3-wire and a 5-wire. So I had just finished up a good install. That was a 3-wire version, one that I had not submitted for the competition, but I knew that the library, when I was doing it, that was the one I wanted to submit for. And it had just came out with a 5-wire one, so a little learning curve there.
Yes.
But I'd learned the advantages of switching from the 3-wire to the 5-wire, which completely makes sense now. And did that install. One of my favorite installs to date. I mean, beautiful building, perfect weather, Southern Kentucky. We actually we got a cabin to stay at while I installed it the whole time. So it was like a little vacation.
Awesome, with the crew and the guys. Yeah,
and the I can't say enough good things about the facility, the people there, the facility manager there, Cody. I mean, just the best people to work with. They gave me everything I needed to get the job done, and once the install was complete, we turned it on. We had almost the whole community, fire departments and everybody coming by to take a look, and not only for training purposes for fire department and understand first responders how to, so it was a good learning learning exercise for them, and the inspectors, everybody who came out to take a look at it. I mean, it got great community involvement, got people talking about in an area where you wouldn't normally see a lot of renewable energy conversations taking place. And moving on into my 2024 award. So we came second place on the commercial one. There was really good competition on the commercial side.
There were some impressive prices this year.
I love seeing the competition out there. I love seeing it gives me ideas. And I think that we need to feed off of each other. Instead of being enemies, we're competitors.
Yeah, and it's a growth market, and
it's
really fun to see those award winners. And we'll talk about your project that took second place this year, but if you guys don't know what we're talking about, APsystems does an award every year, commercial, residential, and you get the opportunity to have some benefits and get some free marketing and boost your company. And like you said, it's not only just what we provide, but what you provide for the community. So tell us about your project this year, and then we'll talk about the amazing team that we have here to help with that.
Yeah, absolutely. So the 2024 project was the most recent project year which was announced, I believe, by around March. We end up hearing, who won the 2024 project. That one was a completely custom carport in Henryville. It was a Spanish kind of themed home, and they had no garage parking. They had no overhead protection for their vehicles.
Yep.
So they wanted to, one, reduce their overall energy usage, two, produce energy and power, and then three, create parking. So when I was contacted by the homeowner, it was through the board I serve on, the Kentucky Solar Energy Society. One of the fellow board members referred me over, and the homeowner gave me, hey, this is what I want. Can you please help design it from start to finish? So there wasn't a lot of, especially in the Midwest, not a lot of available manufacturers that can affordably ship a carport type of structure, and especially the size of the structure that the individual wanted. It had to be made custom. So we locally sourced as much as we could in the southern Indiana and Kentucky area, metal fabricators and everybody to go ahead and help design. We used local concrete contractors, local electricians, and we constructed a fantastic 21, I believe, or 27 panel carport, 3-bay carport. And it turned out great. I mean, the homeowner can't be more happy with the production. He's already gone to a carbon neutral net zero home, and he's producing and even selling back beyond, creating a surplus. So he's just paying bare minimum bills on his electric bill now, and he has the APsystems monitoring to show him, hey, everything's working the way that it's supposed to be working. So
That's awesome. And now, I mean, to talk about that, we have an amazing team. You mentioned Deb. She is amazing what she does.
Fantastic.
And, I mean, the communication skills and the opportunity there. But these projects that you entered, they don't have to be these grandiose projects.
No.
They can be a simple, basic residential install that you do every single day. Or they can be an amazing commercial project. So I think the opportunity, everybody thinks that, oh, it has to be this really cool project, or it has to be this big, or it doesn't. Just enter to win.
Yeah.
And it's pretty awesome to see your name up there.
And even the ones that don't win, I encourage guys,
Yep.
your guys' social media team's fantastic. Just,
Yeah.
if you have an install that you don't think is probably going to be competitive on a national level, well, even just submitting your ongoing project, getting it to the APsystems, team for the media, I mean,
Yep.
it's good for your company, it's good for them, and, looking at how other people do their installs, it can show you good practices. Hey, this is how
Yeah.
they did the configuration, and how they, did wire management and everything in between. So, yeah, it's really fun to be a part of.
And we've got some great partners through panel, through racking, through distributors, and we have some amazing people that if we've got a huge tech support team, we've got US-based tech support, but being part or being an award winner of a global company, that's got to feel impressive itself. There's a burning question. Are you a cookie guy or a brownie guy? Like when you want a dessert, what are you going for?
I guess it depends on my sweet tooth. So sometimes I want something real rich that a brownie can provide, or something that's just, hey, a little bit of chocolate in there. So I'm going to have to go with brownie, though.
Okay.
Not fudge brownie. That's maybe a little too rich.
Yep.
But like a just nice, good homemade brownie. Yeah.
Ice cream or no?
Oh, yeah. If
right.
ice cream's on the table, you take the ice cream.
Vanilla or mix-ins?
What's more?
Vanilla or like mix-ins?
Vanilla.
No, vanilla.
If you already
Yeah.
have the chocolate
Classic.
from the brownie,
Yeah.
you want to compliment. Too much chocolate can be a bad thing in my
Yep.
book. So, yeah.
Well, I don't know. Too much chocolate. Yeah, so.
Just kidding.
Awesome. Thank you, Christopher. I know that you've got a busy day. We've got a lot more interviews to come. I appreciate your time. We're going to be talking more because I just love what you're doing. I love that you're connected and you're involved. And that's a great reminder for anybody watching or listening here is to get involved with those associations, with
Yep.
your state, with your legislature, with your renewable energy resources locally, because that's where that change starts, that momentum starts.
The community.
And
Get everybody involved.
Yeah.
Please. I mean, we try to make ourselves present at events, whether it's through the board, through the company that I work for. Just be engaged. Make sure that we don't fall to the wayside. It takes everybody involvement and making sure that people are educated, because otherwise they're just going to, the first Google search that they come across is going to be their opinion moving forward.
Yeah.
We don't want that. We want them to be truly educated on the great products and the really good return on investments that this can provide to a homeowner or a business.
Awesome. So let us know how if we're in that Kentucky area,
Absolutely.
how we can get a hold of you, how they can find you and connect.
We would love to invite you to either our facility or to meet some of the people that are part of our team. Any day of the week, you guys are invited to come out and say hi, and you can meet with our board. And we're trying to, again, in an area where solar is not as popular, we're trying to make a difference. One house, one business at a time.
Awesome. And that's through your website or through Facebook or LinkedIn?
Yeah, absolutely. So hopefully we can tag that on this video. Yep. So American Roofing is, if you give us a local search in the Kentucky area, you'll see American Roofing and Metal, which is the name of the establishment that I work for, but we have our own division now, which is American Roofing Solar. Apollo Solar's website is still up, but it is going to be integrating into that American Roofing Solar moving forward.
Perfect. So, guys, if you're in the Kentucky area and you want a great partner, not only one that's going to make sure that your roof is amazing and has great solar, but has a new roof on it, or you need that expertise of an issue with your roof or your solar, call Apollo Solar, now American Roofing Solar. And stay tuned to everything Teddy Talks at APsystems.com as the company is sponsoring me. And then we are Go Teddy Talks on YouTube. Stay tuned to all our social media because you might see you next time. Thanks, guys.
I hope you liked that last video. And if you want to see more, don't forget to subscribe right here at this channel to see all the amazing updates coming from Teddy Talks. Now, we're powered by APsystems, and you'll see a lot more coming from us. Hope to see you soon.